gonna go ahead and show you what it's all about.
All right, welcome everybody to the Amazing Thoughts live show podcast live on the internet. I am Eldridge Spig, and as always, with me is
Perfect Dan.
that was okay. How's it going, man?
It's going, man. It's
Your
been
kid's
a week.
almost due, isn't it?
Yep. Basically right at 1 month.
1 month?
Yeah. Basically 4 weeks.
I thought it was just like this week or something.
No. It'll be March 21st. That's when we're expecting.
All right. That's almost isn't that when spring comes along? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the week after is when spring, like March. I think March 27th is usually the day of first day of spring or something like that.
The official day is typically 21st.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, at least that I remember.
Oh, wait. No. Let's see. March 20th. Okay. That's what it's saying. Yeah. So.
Oh, wait. Official first day of spring is March 1? What? Traditionally, we celebrate the first day of spring on March 21st, but astronomers and calendar manufacturers alike now say that the spring season starts on March 20th. Huh.
Weird.
Yeah, fucking weirdos, man.
They just changed the days.
Yeah, I know.
Just like they've been changing a lot of things lately.
Yeah. As speaking of changes, in Portugal, the COVID restrictions are being lifted. I think they were lifted like yesterday or today or something.
Oh, in Portugal?
Yeah. So like now you don't need like you can just go. For example, you can go to a concert and there's no like a
No
limitation of
passes.
people. You don't need to prove that you have been vaccinated. The only places that you need to prove you've been vaccinated is like what's the homes for old people?
So like the nursing homes.
Yeah, nursing homes. That's the only place you need to like specifically prove that you've been vaccinated to enter.
Which that's reasonable. I think that's a little bit
Yeah,
reasonable
because of
for
old
most
people and
people.
stuff.
Yeah.
But masks are still sort of like recommended, I think. And
But are they mandated though? That's
I don't think so. They're not mandated. They're just sort of like, you should use them. Yeah. But yeah, pretty much everything, like you can public establishments, commercial establishments, you can go there. There's no limitation anymore. Like if there's like 15 people in the place, it's fine. You don't need fucking vaccine passports or anything. And yeah, that's pretty much where it is.
sweet. And I noticed a lot of the European Union countries are dropping it now. I think they realize that it's like a losing issue, like the way that they're doing it.
Yeah. What is 9 on about?
I think Nine's on because talking about the old people's homes, like the having the restrictions. She's like, no, like just let them die. It's like,
Oh,
oh yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's like,
I don't know.
well, they lived it. They had a good run, right? They had a good run.
Yeah, I'm honestly an advocate for euthanasia myself. So you know, there was like
You know
one thing
what's
we used to talk
it's
about.
like, well,
Um,
what's funny? There's a lot of places that debate. There's some places have assisted suicide where you can actually, like, if you're old and you like just don't want to go on, like they'll actually just put you down or whatever, basically.
yeah, yeah, that's
And
euthanasia.
yeah, well, they call it assisted suicide, that they allow them to
Well,
basically
assisted suicide is euthanasia,
use them.
basically.
Well, the same. Yeah, I guess the same thing.
It's the same thing. But there are what is Switzerland or something? They created like these suicide pods. They're calling them, and when I saw that, I was like, sign me up, motherfuckers. But I mean, it's so apparently it's supposed to like it locks you in there. You're supposedly comfortable, and then it starts like sort of injecting a bunch of gases and shit in there, and it just sort of lets you die, and supposedly you die peacefully. So yeah, I'm a so in terms of euthanasia and shit, I'm personally an advocate for that. We used to talk about this, and my opinion is, if people are suffering and it's a terminal thing, just let them fucking go. And a lot of people used to, well, at least the people with reasonable thoughts used to agree with me that it's most people that are like, oh no, don't do that because, god damn it, like fucking, I want them here and stuff. Isn't that fucking selfish as fuck though? You want them there because it's you want them there. What about them? Like, why don't you think about what they want? Maybe they don't want to be here anymore. And
Well,
that's a good option.
overall, like, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want them to suffer, you know what I mean? But I'll also, like, what I think about it is, ideally, if we had better ways of healthcare for for the elderly. I mean,
No, that's not the point. The point, I'm talking about terminal stuff that can't be cured, and people are just sort of suffering eternally until they legitimately die. There's no cure. Like, it doesn't matter how evolved the health system is or whatever. There's no cure whatsoever. Like, they're done. They're just like,
well, so some
know?
of them, the cure hasn't been found yet, right? Like something maybe new,
Well,
or it may be
it,
something that we haven't really
it
seen
hasn't been
many
found
times.
exactly. Like, but why should you suffer?
But
And why you don't know when the cure, if there will ever be a cure. So why should you be just suffering? You know?
well, it like it would depend on the situation. I think it's all situational.
I guess
depending on.
I'm way more comfortable with death than you are. From just the way you talk and just like hearing you right now, I'm way more comfortable with death than you are. Death is basically fucking peace at last. The moment you're born, you're no longer fucking having peace ever. It's just like the sentence is getting to be born. And death is basically just like the release of the world. It's my opinion on
Yeah,
it.
well, I mean, like, generally speaking, yes, but I do think that like we would want to live like a happy and healthy and hopefully long life. Like you hopefully get to enjoy a good duration of time on the earth and be able to enjoy some of the things. I mean, there are some bad things about the world or whatever, but generally speaking, if you get to live a long happy life, that would be preferable.
I don't believe in reincarnation, Nine. I think that's just uh, a coping mechanism for people who don't want to die. Like, oh yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna die and I'm gonna be reborn in some other body. No, you're not. Just be down with the fact that once you die, you're dead. That's it. Boom. Honestly, listen, I actually don't. I gotta say, I don't know. But given the many years of like what we've lived through, you know, basically, we just like, I'm losing my train of thought here, but what I'm trying to say is that we've had many years of science already, and all the things we've come into or come by, nothing tells us that, oh yes, we're going to be reborn, or there's a heaven or there's a hell or anything like that. Heaven and hell was basically like fucking a construct for religious purposes to control a world where no control basically was there. It's not a lot of lies, Nine. If it's science, it's not lies. Science is literally science because it's not lying. It's the discovery of things. It's not lies. But you might be lying to yourself if you think it's lies because you want something else, or you're trying to cope with a reality that's not your reality. So then you might be lying to yourself thinking that you want something, or that the world is one way because you want it to be another way. It's like there's no reincarnation. There's no fucking like the moment you die, you don't come back. You don't fuck like you died. That's it. Boom. Period. You go. Things go dark. Any motherfucker that says like, "Oh, bro, listen, so yeah, like I died for 5 minutes." No, you didn't fucking die for 5 minutes. If you're still alive, you didn't die. You can't die and come back. There's no such thing. Your blood might have stopped pumping or something like that, but you came back to life, or you actually didn't die at all. You're back. I mean, you're not dead. No, I'm not wrong. I'm fucking right because I'm right about everything. I don't believe in like, oh yeah, I died for 5 minutes. No, you didn't die for 5 minutes. You didn't fucking die for 5 minutes. I don't know my real self. I don't want to know my real self. I'm good the way I am. I'm ready to go. Who is big? You talk in a very like cryptic way, that like I don't know, I just don't find it amusing personally. I get like maybe you like the Riddler or something from Batman, but I just
speaking the riddles, just be able to.
I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not like, you know, I don't believe in like, oh yes, reincarnations. I don't believe in fucking like spirits or anything like that. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in any of that bullshit. I don't believe like science is lies or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I do believe in hangovers, yes, because I've had many of those. I do believe in those. You're quiet. You're awfully quiet, Daniel. It's okay. Is it okay? Is everything fine?
Yeah, yeah. I was just listening to the dialogue here, but yeah. So
it's not dialogue if I'm speaking by myself. It's a monologue.
Well, I mean, you're
a dialogue. You have to talk to me.
Well, you're chatting back and forth with Nine, so I was trying to see where that would go. Reading. Yeah, but you know, so did you have anything that you wanted to?
If there's only this life, why be here? You literally just responded to your own question. If there's only this life, might as well be here. But I'm not the best person to answer that because I don't want to be here. So I'm really not the best person to answer that. Why? Because I've experienced enough, and I'm no longer happy. And I don't know if I will ever be happy again. You know? So, but that's me. I don't want to enforce my thoughts or things I believe in or feel like on anyone else. Check out what stops me. Something does. Yeah, my grandfather. My grandfather already had 2 suicides on his mind and shit. You know, I think it's kind of like selfish to do it now. You know, but once he's gone, there's nothing else stopping me because no one else gives a fuck.
Well, the maze of thoughts of yours, yeah.
I'm just being real, man. I'm just being real.
So, well, I guess let's get into one of our big topics for the night. I guess we could leave some of the esoteric knowledge with Nine there, but the Canada truckers. So, I think that they've
been that all the time, but I have no idea what's going on there.
So the truckers are protesting in Canada, and they basically have set up a sort of a blockade. They've set up their trucks. They don't want to haul anything, and now they're just going to, you know, protest the restrictions right outside the halls, you know, of their government. And all of a sudden, Trudeau he left the country for a little bit, I think, or he ran away. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he starts talking a big game of like, we're shutting down their bank accounts. We're going to seize their bank accounts, and we're going to try to stop them from even getting, being able to get Bitcoin, you know, whatever. We're going to do like all this kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, they're going to try to like stop them. What they can do is they can stop the addresses that are sending them Bitcoin. I don't know if they can stop like, you know, the actual Bitcoin transaction.
I had no fucking idea about any of this shit, man. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Trudeau is going like full tyrant mode. He's actually went insane. Right. He threatened to lock them up. They're calling them terrorists. Just because they're protesting. Like they're one guy.
Why are they protesting though? Like I'm not aware of the. Why are they protesting? What's the reason behind that?
Well, because of the mandates. Like they were going to mandate that if you cross, everyone who has to cross the U.S.-Canada border would have to be vaccinated, and these truckers are
Oh,
crossing all the time, so they would have to be vaccinated. So
right.
then they decided to protest, and then now Trudeau
Why the fuck are they
is tired of it.
requiring truckers to be vaccinated? Like, well, most
I mean, they
things
sit in the
they
truck.
do is, yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean, and here's one of the truckers actually. I don't know if you can play that, but yeah, that's he. Someone recorded him, and he's just like, yeah, the police are coming in, like that. It doesn't matter, like I'm here, I'm doing what I'm doing, and they're doing their job. Like, I mean, they shouldn't be, honestly, any reasonable police officer, given these kind of circumstances, would automatically quit. But
yeah,
I don't know. For some reason, there are a bunch of like I don't know if it's just that they're wondering about their paycheck, or if they just don't care. I mean, there's a variety of factors that could be at play, because these are people we're talking about, not just like numbers. But I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
what makes them
for
tick?
the governments and etc., it's just numbers.
Well, for the government,
And
it's just numbers.
companies
But I
and
mean,
shit.
like for the police officers themselves, like are they actually even thinking about it? Do they even care? It's hard to tell a lot of times.
Yeah. Uh, true, man. I mean, I remember like other trucker protests. And I think it was
Yeah,
in Europe at some
yeah.
point. Like,
Apparently, Romania had some. A few other countries in Europe. I think. France has been having massive protests because of what they're doing. They're and Macron like seems to want to keep going down the further like fascistic hole. Like he just wants to be like a massive tyrant. But I don't know if it's gonna last. Can he literally run the country with people revolting in the street? Not like 6 out of 7 days, basically.
hmm. Yeah, true. Um,
I
but
mean,
I honestly, I'm not very keen on knowing things about politics and shit. So I'm just gonna agree with whatever you say. So yes, I agree.
well, it's interesting though, just how the after the truckers started the protest, how a lot of countries started dropping the restrictions, especially in Europe, which was surprising to me more than you know anything else. I honestly, what I think, my personal take on this is that the United States will be the last, very last country to drop restrictions, and here's why: because in the U.S. um, generally speaking, we've had it cozy, right? Well, we haven't had really bad, like overall, we haven't had leaders who have necessarily um, actually acted tyrannical up until now.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, I guess you could say with the way Biden did, but still, even then, he doesn't have enough
Oh.
power. The courts are telling him no everywhere he can go. Like every time he tries to do these measures, the courts tell him no, and then so Biden can't. Biden's a weak tyrant, and so we haven't had actual tyranny, and so a lot of people are comfortable with tyranny because they think that it guarantees them safety. Um, like
uh,
the California and New York both still have vax mandates right now. I think New York is about to drop their vax mandate, but it's only for certain areas. There's still going to be certain areas that they're going to require vax.
Speaking
But
of Biden, dude. Um,
um, there's a lot we could talk about with him.
the motherfucker this guy hired.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes, I saw that.
Bruh, what is going on
Dude.
in this fucking world, man? A fucking queer activist who brags about puppy play gimp kink. This is
Well,
where
no, no,
we're
no.
at now.
This is even worse, okay? what they're saying right here is not exactly what he said. He said he's into the real thing.
Furries or like actually fucking
No.
dogs and shit.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's what furries do essentially. They're just a lot of them are just in denial so that they don't want to be judged. But come on, if you're a fucking furry, you want to fuck animals. Fuck you, stupid fuck.
But yeah, no. He openly admitted it, or them apparently.
Yeah, this is like the same shit. This feels like the same shit as when they made Apex Legends and they purposefully started like making characters that were fucking like non-binary and queer and whatever the fuck. It's like, bro, why? Why do you need to fucking do this, man?
Well, I mean, it's said they did the same with Overwatch. You know, like every
exactly.
character, like
Very true.
Soldier 76, like Soldier 76, and
I think that's just a meme. No, the Soldier.
Oh, that one was a meme.
A fag. Okay. I think that's just a meme. Yeah. They did make Tracer.
They made Tracer. Though. Yeah, didn't they make another one? I swear they made another one, but there was the rumor about Soldier, but being
I don't
gay.
think so.
Okay.
I'm saying it was just a meme. Like I think it was just fan made shit because I've never seen anything proving that like 76 was a fag. But this like the thing is like this is just like stupid, you know, because not like this wasn't just the hiring of this guy, you know? Like I don't give a shit like who you hire or whatever. It's just the publication of this. You know what I mean? Like this was everywhere for like a brief moment. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I mean like the funny thing is that they don't seem to care that they like, and this is my problem with like the bureaucracy of countries. What I would like to see is the a lot of these bureaucrats and stuff, like people who are overseeing, like this person is going to be overseeing our energy department. I'd really just cut out energy department. Like you don't need like necessarily a department of energy. I mean, what you need is you need just real leaders who can actually manage from the top and have as few people as they need to be able to handle the goal. But I think a lot of this stems from the issue that where people want to create government jobs to be able to have people on the payroll so the unemployment looks low. And that's a really bad idea.
There's a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Gabriel's saying, like construct additional pylons, like freaking StarCraft style. Like yeah, we need more bureaucrats, sure.
The LGBT activist also explains how he believes he is having sex with animals and that there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, what they're leaving out is there was a post where he literally said that, oh yeah, I do it. Like I just some people are think that it sounds weird when I tell them, but yeah, I do it. It doesn't matter. Like. I was like,
also
wow.
Explains how he has difficulty making his dog stop pretending to be a dog before he has anal sex with it. So this is talking about like puppy play. And a quote, I actually have trouble when we transition from pup play to having sex. Like, no, I can't have you whimper like that when we're having sex. Because I don't want to mix that world. It's interesting because he doesn't have to come out of pup mode to have me fuck him. This been fucking hired by Biden to take care of what, like nuclear stuff or whatever the fuck. I personally have to bring him out of pup perception for me, but then I'm still treating him as a submissive to me. Oh my god, dude. And this guy's still hired. This guy's still doing the thing, right?
Yeah, I mean there's no like. See, this is the problem with bureaucracy, though. Like, is the fact that he's going to get appointed to this job. He has no qualifications, no merit. It's basically just because of he knows somebody. Well, I mean that, and you would still have to know somebody to be able to get in.
Right.
And so it's all nepotism. It becomes
Yeah.
nepotism, and that's the worst thing about a lot of our systems, modern systems, is that it's just pure unadulterated nepotism. Like,
This is insane, dude. This is insane. I don't think this. I mean, given the state of the world, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't see this happening anywhere else in the world, dude. Like in Brazil, they probably would fucking castrate his ass.
Dude, Bolsonaro would have like literally have him put on a stand for, or, basically probably probably have him walk the plank, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, man, this is what's next? Like what's the next fucking hire? A pedophile and just openly admits they're a pedophile, and like Biden's goes like, I hire you, yeah, come here, you know?
Well, I mean, society seems to be, less and less inclined to care now. So it would be completely plausible that he would just be like, "Yep, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter."
It's
We'll
insane.
hire
and
them.
then like people are like, well, why don't we want to live in this world anymore? There's why, dude. There's why. But yeah, this is just. I mean, again, like what people do. I still think like if you think like fucking animals is okay or whatever. Basically, I think you're fucking weird and you need like help. But ultimately, I think that
like speaking of like people needing help, I think a lot of this stems from the fact that we don't like there's a lot of talk about mental health now, but there's so many people like these kind of people, who they literally need actual help, and no one is ever going to do that because they get called all kinds of names, like they're some kind of phobe or ist, if they call that out and they say
the problem is people giving a fuck, man. That's the main fucking issue. You know what I mean? The problem is people giving a fuck about being called an ist or whatever the fuck. Like, who gives a shit, man? If you're called an ist this or an ist that, you know what I mean?
Like in America, it's a little bit different culture, because if someone were to call me like a racist or something like that, immediately my job prospects go to virtually zero. If anyone knows at all that I've been like labeled a racist or something like that, then I would immediately not have a job. And that's why, like, it doesn't matter whether it's true, it doesn't matter whether it's valid or whatever. It's just, if you get pinned with that label, then you have no prospect of livelihood after that, because then they'll be able to.
But how the fuck would people How the fuck would people know? Are you like you must be talking about like something like Twitter or some shit.
Well, I mean, either if it was Twitter, if anything. So
I'm talking about like fucking like an interaction between people, and someone says something like that might be a little bit controversial or whatever. Like, it doesn't automatically go on Twitter, or it doesn't automatically like become some fucking news. It's just an interaction that maybe someone misinterprets. It doesn't have to go all over the fucking place and make the fucking national news, man. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't have to. But as soon as someone presses record on their phone and then they record you saying
something, holy shit, man! People do that?
Yes, dude. Like they will sit there.
So like one of these fucking days we're just having like, I don't know, a Discord call or whatever the fuck, and you decide to record so that if I do something, you're like, oh, this guy said the N-word or whatever when we were fucking talking about.
Yes, people will do this. Yeah, it's mainly some of these crazy like left weirdos that do it. They want to bait people into it, like, so they'll get people on a call and maybe they even say the word themselves, but they'll like like bait them into like saying the N-word or something. Like, it's just like just what happened to Papa John. Okay, that's a prime example. They got him,
the guy from the pizzas, right?
Yeah. So Papa John, they baited him into a call where they were talking to him about employee stuff, and because they wanted him out of the Papa John's company, um, which he was the main figure of. Essentially, they baited him into doing this call with them, and they were talking about some racial, bias training or some kind of racial awareness training thing, and he was like, "Well, people don't need to like say the N, and he said the N word to them or something like that, and then all of a sudden, they recorded that, and then they immediately went like, oh, he's racist. Look at him, and then that they'd goaded him into saying the word itself. Like they literally said, okay, like like here you go, read it, and then he said it, and then they recorded him and got him fired, and now he other like he can't really get any CEO or C level jobs anywhere. I mean, he's basically just been I think he's trying to do some stuff political now because he's tired of all the BS with that. So I think he's going to run for political office. But he completely got his life destroyed because of that. Like he said his family basically had to go into hiding because they were so after them because he got recorded on that call.
Again, my issue is like not people doing the things, just people being fucking offended like with the slightest fucking. It's like it doesn't affect you or anything like that, but
well, a lot of it's about power, Pig. Like the idea is that if I'm below you and I can knock you down a peg or like completely get you out of the company, and then I can maybe move up another notch, that's a surefire win. And if I can use any tactic to bait you into saying something that would be found offensive, and then that way I can a fake offense. It's all fake. I like 99% of it is fake, I think, and it's just because they can get power.
But again, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't have any fucking impact if people didn't give a shit. That's my point. If people didn't give a fuck about this, if people weren't soft fucking pussies, you know what I mean? It would have no fucking impact. We give words way too much fucking power. And that's the fucking problem. It shouldn't have any of this fucking power. Like, it's just fucking words. Sometimes a lot of people just say stupid shit, like, in a joking manner. They don't fucking mean what they're saying. Like, the amount of times I would just sit, like, when I was a teenager and stuff, we used to call each other fags all the fucking time. You know what I mean? It was just like jokingly.
Yeah.
We never used the N word because we don't live in a country that like gives too much of a fuck about that shit. But like we called each other fags all the fucking time, jokingly, and motherfuckers and stuff like that. It was just like, it was just such a fuck. Like, who cares, dude? It's just only this fucking age nowadays, this fucking modern age nowadays, that everything is fucking like offensive. Everything is like insulting. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Get a fucking life. Holy fuck. That's the only problem I have with this whole thing. It's not like people saying it or whatever the fuck intentions they have with saying these things. It's the problem is that people get offended by this. And then it's like, oh my, and they go on Twitter. It's like fucking Twitter shit show. Like, oh my god, X said certain word. Y said certain word. Z said, oh my god, I can't believe it. Like, do you have nothing better to do with your fucking pathetic ass life that you have to go on Twitter and whine about something that does not influence you in any way, shape, or form? It's some of them pathetic.
Don't. Like some of them legitimately they don't have anything going in their life. So that's the one thing. If they can cancel somebody, that's the one thing that they can latch onto. I canceled Papa John or something like that. But dude,
you just reminded me of a fucking TikTok that happened like not too long ago. Some pathetic fucking loser going like, oh yeah, my 2022 started great because I managed to fucking like this person or whatever. Then some woman he didn't like or some shit. this person on Twitter got suspended. My fucking 2022 is starting off fantastic. I'm like, bro, there's so much shit going on in the world, and what makes you happy these days is that a woman got suspended on Twitter. That makes you happy? I mean, wow, dude.
Yeah.
And then you look at like kids nowadays, what makes kids cry and shit. Like fucking Dream or whatever losing a fucking match in Minecraft or something that makes kids cry and stuff. I'm like, this shit makes you cry? Like, what if there's a fucking war or whatever? Like, what if you have to fucking go like, you know, actually struggle against something? What's gonna fucking happen? You're gonna, well, what? You know? God damn, dude.
Well, so in America, like in Europe, it may be a little bit different, but like the problem in America is that there's two. It's a twofold issue. For one thing, it's for like like for like African Americans, like it's really like for like the black community in America, like the all of them they see it as a huge offense for you to like if you even say the word, even if they say it, it doesn't matter that they say it. They see it as a like any particularly white. I mean, I think if you were Asian, they might still care, but or Hispanic or whatever, they might still care. But like if particularly a white person says it, they think that they literally it seems like they're going back in time pretending to be their ancestors, and then they say, well, my ancestors wouldn't like that because like they I mean, in the grand scheme it doesn't really matter. We're just so far disconnected from what that word was back then and what it is now, and what the reality of our world is now, because let's be honest, like I have nowhere near the net worth of someone like Dr. Dre, who just performed at the Super Bowl. I have nowhere near his net worth. He is literally he's richer than any rapper alive, and richer than a majority, like a lot of people, because of his business dealings that he's done. He sold Beats for like 3 billion, and he's worth like 5 billion right now, and no telling like how he can.
So I'm super
Yeah, I
noobish
don't
in
know.
terms when it comes to fucking finances and shit. Like, what does that have to do with anything? You gotta explain.
What I'm saying is like for someone like him, being like a black man in America, and they talk about how people are like the black people are like so oppressed, and in some areas, some specific instances, maybe they got a bad hand. Maybe they got dealt a bad hand. Some cop didn't really like them because of the color of their skin. I don't know. I don't actually know, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a problem in America. So,
Right. Uh,
um, but
I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying though. If that's people like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z can be, some of the richest people in our country, uh, I don't really see how where you're saying that like there's this whole like complete disparity. Some of the big athletes, primarily most of the athletes that are really popular are the black athletes. Like there's LeBron is probably the most popular basketball player. There's a bunch of popular football players that happen to be black, and there's no real reason for them to be so upset and obsessed with the idea that anytime someone slights encroaches upon anything, that they think that they have they think they're entitled to like the word, or the N word or something like that, which in the grand scheme I don't really have to say the word. I don't really feel the need to say the word. It's just if anyone ever says it, they're immediately going to like you've committed like career suicide in America, because there's going to be a ton of people, either white people being offended on the behalf of black people, or black people just getting up in arms over it for no reason.
All I say is, you know, the bird is the word. That's the word.
The bird is a
Yeah. This is all fucking division, dude. Honestly, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's all for fucking dividing people. It's just like the last week we talked about that stupid ass fucking documentary called "It's Gonna Be All White," which is clearly like a play on words with Bob Marley's song. But it's all fucking meant to divide and just make white motherfuckers who are stupid enough to not realize they're not guilty of anything feel guilty just because, oh my god, yeah, you're right, I'm so privileged and shit. Like, both parties are fucking privileged, motherfucker. Both white people and black people are privileged in this fucking day and age. Some aren't, yes, but also white people, some white people are not fucking privileged. That's just a fucking fact. Are there more struggles for black people than white people? Most likely, yes. But the thing is, there's no longer such a difference than the thing about this is that black people had to struggle for their rights like many years ago, and they had to undergo the changes in going from being like slaves to being members of society that would be respected, while us white dudes didn't really have to go through that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean like what we ultimately should be believing in is that everyone is a person, and it's just like the same thing as going like, oh yeah, fucking black people are criminals, they all want to rob people or whatever the fuck. Like, no, man. No, what about the white motherfuckers that want to rob people as well?
Well, I mean,
bad people are bad people. You don't have to fucking judge them because of the skin of their color or the color of the skin. You know what I mean? Like,
so here's the funny thing about how it is in America, and there's some like hoods, that I won't go through or that I don't like to be around. And if I go through that neighborhood, then obviously I'm strapped, so I mean I'm not I'm not particularly worried, but I do find myself thinking about, okay, well,
there's places like that everywhere, dude. It's not an American thing.
But I mean, like, but in America, if you have that sense of insecurity and it happens to be where there's like a higher concentration like of black people, a lot of times like the black people will look at you like and think that because you're worried because they're black, and that's where some of the interactions that happen, like, oh, you think I'm gonna rob you,
American
man?
thing,
like, yeah. Well, I mean, like they think that because it's a bad neighborhood and they just happen to live there, and they happen, there will be some
like
trailer parks. Well, there's some trailer parks
such a thing. That's not like necessarily inherent to black people, Asian people as well. Like, oh, fucking Asians, get out of here, go back to your country, fucking build something in China or whatever the fuck. Or like,
if you look at the data,
Mexicans and stuff, I think it's a little bit generalized. I think
the Mexican thing is a little bit different. The way that generally speaking, most people, like even here in the South, like people will get along with Mexicans because they're generally speaking, most of the time they are in a lot of line with a lot of what Southern people do. We, generally they work hard for a living. They do their best to try to get by, and that's pretty much it. But and they don't really, they're not really gang members or anything, but there are some that are coming across illegally, and even now Biden is kind of permitting that, and that's why a lot of people are like, well, they're not telling any particular Mexican to just like go back to their country. It's the illegal ones, like illegal Mexicans, go back to your country. We don't need more people coming in here and taking taking welfare and doing all this, because some of them, the ones that are going to be coming here are most likely going to be like moms with children, and they're going to run across the border and have their kid, and then some of them are going to just be able to be U.S. citizens because of our natural um our well, I forget exactly what the terminology, but basically, if you're a naturalized citizen, basically, if you are born in the U.S., regardless of whether you were a U.S. citizen, you are a citizen of the U.S. because you were born here, and that's where a lot of the incentive is, and they can come across here, have their kid, get welfare, and be able to support themselves, uh, with and their kid. And I don't even know if a man, if a man, is involved with with some of the women or whatever, then maybe they come across later. Maybe I don't know. But generally speaking, it's a problem with the idea that a lot of people are flooding it illegally, and then they can be citizens immediately. Like the children can be citizens immediately because they were born on U.S. soil. And if we remove some of that, that legislation, and make it no longer a naturalized process, and make it more of a sort of a process where you have to have some sort of residency for here for a period of time, then maybe that would change things. But as it stands, with people just being able to run across, that's the problem we have there. But kind of going back to the other point, the like I said, if I go into any kind of neighborhood that is rough, it doesn't matter, you know white, Hispanic, black, whatever. If I go into somewhere that I know is a rough neighborhood, I'm gonna be a little bit careful, and it's gonna be viewed as racist by some people or something like that. But if it's a bad neighborhood, it's a bad neighborhood. I don't care, how any perception that people may have of it. It's me protecting me and mine.
Just don't give
And
a fuck about it, dude.
yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care, but someone else, may view that way in America, because, like, oh, look at him, he's driving through here, and I don't care personally, but some people are scared to do that. Like, they're so scared to offend. There's such a culture in America to be scared to offend people, because it's it's really, other than politics, explicit politics. A lot of what we want to do is we just want to get by. We don't want to offend. We want to offend the least amount of people.
Right. Um. Yeah, I don't.
And I found, like, like some of the people that I've seen, talk to online or whatever, being from other countries, and they're like, yeah, we don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if I offend people, it's like, oh well. Like, it's on them to not, like, take so much offense to everything. Now, if you literally talk down to someone, then some obviously reconcile. But
And
generally
partially, we're always
speaking,
insulting each other. So I did, it's how we go about
well,
our days.
like in the South here, even though a lot of people talk about, like, Southern hospitality in the U.S., generally speaking, it's not that, um, it's not that hospitable, unless, like, people are kind of just going through their day. But most people don't try to go out of their way to get on everybody's nerves and try to do anything. Like, we don't try to just go up and insult people. um you know we try to go do our jobs, about our day, and do our stuff, and that's pretty much it.
So, like everybody else in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we have concern about, like, did I offend Jane yesterday when I talked to her? Did
I think
is
that's
Susie upset of
if
me?
you have a conscience, that's gonna happen for, again, people in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean, like, even with strangers, even with someone you don't know,
Yeah,
I think
man.
that
Like,
happens in America. But,
yeah.
like, in other countries, across the world, I think that there's less of a culture of like, let me worry about what this person thinks about how I said something. I think there's less of a culture like that.
I think the difference is that maybe other people don't talk about it, or don't reveal that they do it, and they just go about their days. I think that's the biggest difference. But I'm pretty sure, because it happens to me, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen to other people. Like, if you say certain things, if you have like a certain reaction to something you said or whatever, you're gonna be thinking about like, man, could I've done that shit differently? Could I've done something else? Or, like if you're sort of on a debate or some shit, and somebody says something and you don't have a comeback right away, you have to like figure something out to say, and your comeback that you have right away is really bad. And then like fucking 10 or 15 minutes later, or even the next day, you think about something, you're like, oh fuck man, I had the perfect comeback right now. Dang it. So, yeah, man, like people do think about that shit, outside of their interactions and stuff. I think that's just, honestly, that's just humans with a conscience. Most people that don't do that, they're fucking psychopaths or sociopaths or narcissists. They just don't give a shit about other people think. What other people think of whatever it is that you said, or something like that. They're just like, yeah, whatever, they don't give a shit. When I say you shouldn't care about like what people think of you, I mean like you shouldn't live your life a certain way just because you think people are going to think ill of you or something. You know what I mean? Like, just because people are going to be like, so, I guess instead of doing it this way, I'm going to do it that way because I don't want people to think I'm an asshole or something. Even though you're not really doing anything bad, people are going to be like that because, well, you're going to act a certain way because you don't want people to think that you're an asshole. So this is basically what I'm trying to say.
But I mean, like in America though, there's such a worry about.
Stop being self-centered, Trey. God damn it.
Look, it's just like you don't. If you lived here, you would understand it because if I have to think about a lot of interactions that I do. If I just go to, say I am ordering something and at a restaurant, and then I need to make sure that I'm, my public perception is correct. And even if you're in private, you have to be careful who you say things or certain things around.
Yes, so like I'm telling you, man, I do that myself. That happens to me as well. Like when I'm at home, right? When I'm at home, and I'm talking to myself sometimes. Luckily, I speak mostly in English when I'm talking to myself at home and shit. When I'm like smoking next to the window or whatever, I'm basically just like thinking like, what can I? Like people are gonna fucking hear me if I say this or that. And I'm thinking about that, even if I'm inside of my house, So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it depends. Like there's a lot you can ignore, but there's certain things that you have to be really careful. And even if someone barely overhears you, especially me being a dad now, like if I were to say anything, that's why I try to keep as clean as I possibly can, just because I know if he picks up on something immediately, it's going to be the most used word that he's going to use. For like he's just going to use that word, repeat it, because he's a sponge. He's absorbing everything, and even if that weren't the case, I would want to be careful because you don't know I don't know how. Well, at least me personally, I don't know who I can trust. It's really difficult to find people who are extremely trustworthy, especially in this day and age. I find that we're in like you need high trust in this society to be able to get by, but there's so many people who are low trust people who you can't trust at all.
Right. Anyways, what else? can we talk about?
Well, let's see.
There's been some shit on YouTube's that I kind of wanted to comment on. Let me see if I can find that shit though, because sometimes we can find it right away, sometimes we can't find it. So one thing was the fucking like hiring of that fucker, because they fucking shit. But there was more shit here. As a matter of fact, apparently like NFT motherfuckers now are stealing from each other. I saw a video title on that. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the title is like they're stealing from each other now. The fucking NFT crypto bros. That's hilarious. Yeah, did you see the news on that motherfucker? On that couple that stole like 4 billions worth of Bitcoin or some shit.
Oh yeah, they got hit with a huge prison sentence.
Yeah,
I think.
Or
they're going to like one of the two.
Yeah,
they're going to be
I
put
don't
away.
fucking know, dude, because it's crypto, so it's very, kind of weird and shit. But yeah, I mean, if you look at their fucking videos, like the chick is a wannabe rapper, who's very, very bad at it, and the dude looks like he's going to enjoy prison. That's all I'm gonna say. The husband to this chick looks like he's going to enjoy prison.
He looks like he's consumed enough soy for 3 men.
Yeah. So he's going to enjoy the soap experience. I feel like he's probably gonna. So he doesn't even need fucking soap. He just bends over, like, waits for it.
Whoops.
But apparently, what happened was like they were given Bitcoin that was stolen by hackers or some shit. You know what I mean? And that's just basically what happened. So, but they just got like they were sort of getting.
They were in possession of something stolen like that.
Yeah,
that's I think that's a weird law to have, like to have it like if you're in possession of something stolen, like you stole it. It's weird, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see how it plays out.
I guess
I think they were bragging about it though, weren't they?
I think they have to find the wallets that are basically like sort of connected or whatever to the like, because what the way they did this shit, I think it was like they went from wallet to wallet back and forth, so trying to like create a web of fucking transfers and shit to make it harder. Basically kind of like the motherfuckers did with was it the NFTs thing, I think. So yeah, it's weird, but it's just the hilarious part of it was like that weird ass fucking couple,
Yeah,
or having 4 billions worth of Bitcoin that they couldn't even fucking enjoy themselves. They couldn't even fucking get any, or the majority of it was still like Bitcoin. It's still like, I guess, quote unquote, frozen or some shit. And they're still going to get the fucking the hammer for the fucking thing. It's funny.
Yeah, they're gonna. I have a feeling that they're gonna be put away for a while, just because of the way that the SEC doesn't like, or I don't know if it's probably the SEC, but or the FBI, they don't like a lot of the playing around with money to be able to like manipulate, trying to money laundering, because they know that there's going to be where you're evading taxes or you're evading something.
Yeah.
So their money is very important to the governments, because they need to finance what the government is doing. And if you're, that's why the IRS is like one of the biggest, bodies of the U.S. government. They
We used
have
to
to
do
get
this
that
shit,
money.
but it was with like physical stuff. So basically, one day, um, I was in this vocational course, and one of my colleagues, they needed a phone. They didn't need like anything special or anything new or anything like that, but they wanted a phone. And this dude who I used to hang out like before getting in the bus and going home, we used to hang out like by the bus station stairs and stuff. And he comes with a phone. Oh yeah, I got it. Stole it from this motherfucker and stuff. Um, so basically, what I did was like I kind of just uh, basically took a detour. The phone took a detour from the guy that was stolen from, and it went from for another person. So it's just like kind of like the same shit they're doing there. It's like they're just, oh, okay, well, instead of, you know, selling it myself, I'm gonna give it to someone else, and then that someone else sells it to someone else, and it goes sort of like many layers, making it a little bit more difficult to, you know, be found, if you will. Right, so that kind of the same shit they're trying to do with this.
Well, that this happens with the rich people. There's a good reason for a lot of them to do things like this, and the way they can do this is if they can find someone they can trust to buy an art piece from, and they say, okay, I bought this for 136,000 or something like that. So it's like, oh, that's 136,000. Why are you paying me so much for this art piece? It's worth, it's like worth like $20. And they're like, no, 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 shh, no, no, it's worth 136,000. That's how much I paid you. And so then from then on, now people think that the value is going to increase on the price of that art. So now you basically set a baseline of like this piece of art is $136,000, and that's where a lot of the art pieces, they're basically used for money laundering for a lot of big, wealthy donors, and they just donate a huge sum of money to get this painting or whatever, and then they have the ability to sell it on the market back if they need money, but usually they just let it sit there because it's worth that value, and they don't have to report it on taxes. So you think the rich really buy a lot of useless, crap a lot of times, but sometimes it's just so they can sort of do some money laundering, so they don't have to actually pay taxes on a lot of the stuff that they've, earned. So they just buy this thing, and it can increase in value, or it can stay the same in value, and they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the rich motherfuckers just want to be richer. There's no fucking limit. There should there should be a fucking there should be a limit to how much money one motherfucker can have. Kind of like when you go to a game and you can only own like a specific amount of money or a specific amount of items. You know what I mean? Like that should be. You should have like a fucking limit.
Like I think, it's all energy, right? Like so, money in essence is the sum of some energy over time, right? So my energy over time is going to increase over time as my money increases, and as I proceed to make more. That's how that's going to go. And so therefore I should be making more money and worth more. Now, um some people take it to extreme, but like even Bill Gates and Melinda Gates or whatever, they give away a ton of money, and they still have so much left over. Um, so I think that if done right, if people, in the that were the right kind of people were to amass wealth, which I just think that a lot of people who end up being at the top tier of wealth, generally speaking, they do a lot of shady things. And I think that's the problem. It's not the fact that so many people make money, it's the fact that a lot of shady people make money.
Oh, that's always the problem. Shady motherfuckers are always the problem. Oh yeah, another thing is apparently like a male athlete heroically dominates female swimming championship, and I think he just said, you know, they're just fucking bad, bro. They should just get better. I think it's like one of those situations with the what is it, fucking trans stuff, I guess, or some shit. It just fucking dominates. No fucking shit. Motherfucker just dominates. And you're like, well, yeah, they should have just been better. You know, it's not good enough.
Exactly. And he like she looks doesn't even look like they tried to change like at all. They just look straight up like a man. And then they just hop in there and they swim all the way across faster. You know, they do the whole laps or whatever, and they just speed, just blow past them.
It's literally the South Park fucking remark on the whole thing. When South Park remarked the weightlifting thing or the triathlon or whatever the fuck it was.
Freaking
where the dude
Randy Savage.
I'm a woman, yeah. And just fucking dominates like a fucking bodybuilder, just dominates every single woman in there. Well, they should have been better, dude. It should have been better. It's ridiculous. So it's like, so now a woman wants to be a dude, and then they go for the WWE, for example, and then they can fucking lift the massive, like Mark Henry, for example, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking massive. And they can fucking lift shit. So it's like, what are they gonna do? You know, like what's gonna happen? You know, but they're a dude, right? They're a fucking dude. You know, it's so stupid. It is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why, you know, so many people are worried about this. Is what I'm talking about, like with the American culture, though, of not wanting to offend these people, because a lot of you know, even sensible people don't agree with it, right? Like we don't agree that men should be able to get on the field and compete with women, because they're gonna destroy them. It's just proven. It's data. But there are some people who they don't want to offend the sensibilities of these, you know, like these, you know, teenagers or whatever, or young adults that are trying to, like, they don't want to offend. And so they basically say, oh yeah, you know, yeah, little Johnny, you know, you're you know, you're a girl, yeah, you're fine. And then they just go along to get along. And then when it comes time to like actually deal with a lot of the issues that arise because of it, they don't want to do it. They'd much rather blame everybody. Oh, well, you guys are just phobic, you know, and that's a much easier cop out than them being a bad parent.
Yeah,
you know, or something.
Firstly, I think, like, in regards to that, I think teachers who promote that kind of shit should quite literally be not teaching anything. They should be fucking out of that shit. If you're gonna go have a class and you're promoting this kind of bullshit to your kids and stuff, I think you're fucking wrong. I think you shouldn't do that. I think you should be fired, personally. But once again, it's one of those situations, oh my god, let's not fire them because they're going to be offended and going to fucking make a Twitter post. Why is Twitter so powerful, dude? Why the fuck is goddamn Twitter so fucking powerful? That's the fucking stupid shit. Like, motherfuckers post something on Twitter, it then makes national news because we know media just wants to fucking, you know, go with negative bullshit and whatever the fuck is trying to sort of make people's minds twisted and whatever. Some motherfucker makes some dumb goddamn Twitter post, and then that shit goes national fucking news, and then everyone's talking about it. It's so retarded. I think that's partially why people are so afraid of getting offended or offensive, because they don't want to end up on Twitter and possibly on fucking national news. It's just so fucking stupid, man.
I mean, shit. Like there were like the guys who did the OK hand sign or whatever at the police officers. They did the OK hand sign, and because people had been calling it racist, actually it was kind of a troll from 4chan. They were saying like, "Oh yeah, guys,
Oh, of
let's
course.
make." Yeah, it's like, guys, oh, guess what we can do? We can make the OK hand sign mean like it's okay to be white, and so like they're that'll like they literally made a post that basically
4chan is
said how
4chan is literally just a bunch of neck beard weebs that have nothing else better to do with their lives than try to troll and shit. And they're good at it. They're good at fucking
well,
being trolls and fucking up people's lives. And sometimes they do help people, but it's just a bunch
yeah.
of neck bearded weebs. You know, and it's just the fucking. That's why I never liked it. You know, it's like called literally 4chan. You know, it's like literally the
Yeah,
name of the fucking site
or a
is
Chan, yeah.
4chan. It's like some stupid anime reference or whatever. You know?
Well, what I think is, it's basically like the corner of the internet where all the autists gather. So like it's literally weaponized autism.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But
Like
I
that
did
that's
watch a video. I did watch a video on why, like, basically, why it can't be positive because it's still one of the websites. It's like Surface Web, and it's like still allows for people to sort of talk their minds and stuff. Because I'm sure there's not the whole website is not full of like bad people, you know. It's just like some motherfuckers decide, you know, I'm gonna be a moron today, you know, and they make a post and it picks up and stuff. But
no.
I did
Look,
like the thing they did with helping out like the fucking 30-something-year-old dude. You know what I mean? And made them win the fucking Taylor Swift contest for meeting Taylor Swift. It's like a 30-something-year-old Taylor Swift fan. And they boosted
I don't
him
remember
up.
that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
they fucking boosted him up and shit, and he won the contest. And he was the
oh my
one meant
god.
to fucking meet Taylor Swift. But the fucking radio station that was hosting that contest, they basically called it off because it was a 30-something-year-old, and that shit was meant for like teenagers. You know what I mean? It's so fucking dumb.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like the age limit on it or something like that. Yeah, that's so dumb. But like like the one thing that I remember from 4chan that was really cool, like when they went to this like random like old guy's like birthday party, like he just like his family was trying to get some people to come, and they had all these flyers out because they were just wanting people to come because he didn't really have as many of his friends around, like at his age, because he was like 80 or whatever. And so these guys all come down there, and like all these 4chan guys come and go to his birthday party.
Yeah. There's definitely
But
nice people there.
I'm not hating on 4chan, Mariana. Actually, I commend the weaponized autism that is 4chan, because they've been able to find out. They literally see the top of someone's head in a photo, and they can make out exactly who that person is and where they were at, what time of day it was. It's insane. They're like the best internet research tool. Is just go ask 4chan.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is like, weebs, but what am I gonna do about
Yeah.
it?
Well,
Um
I mean, it's the internet. You there's plenty of people on Twitter with anime profile pictures. So
yeah, yeah. True. True. Um
but yeah, um, actually, speaking of sort of like 4chan, there was involved with the trucker protests. They got donations for those guys to be able to keep doing the protests, and they were, I told you the government like seized their bank accounts. Well, part of the reason they were seizing people's bank accounts is because they were getting these donations to keep being able to, keep
right.
going and do the protest. But um, Give Send Go, which is like a GoFundMe, what was is a another crowdfunding site, but the GoFundMe that they set up for the truckers got shut down immediately because they didn't want to be involved with a political stunt or something like that. And then so they moved it to Give Send Go, which is like a Christian crowdfunding site. And then whenever they moved it to that, it got like $800,000 or something like that. And then this person hacked it and found all the info of every single person who donated to the campaign and sent it to journalists. And so now the journalists were sitting there, they were posting people's doxed addresses on Twitter, which I thought Twitter said they weren't for, but apparently if they if the journalists do it, it's okay. But if you do it as an individual, or even if as a different publication, because whatever the different stories from like New York Post or something, if it's not like the New York Times saying it, then they don't care. But the journalists were literally posting people's doxed addresses on there because they were like, "Oh, look, we found the donors who donated to the truckers. Look at that! Oh, you could see them immediately. Like they got a super chub about that because they were so excited to be able to go after these people who they thought that they were so bad because they want to not." For the truckers to keep going and not and basically end all the mandates like that. That's the hope. That's been the hope is that if the truckers keep protesting, then all these mandates will go away because there's no way any economy can function this long with all these protests and stuff like that. So hopefully, mainly trucker protests because they got to deliver stuff. So, but the hacker literally came out and was like, "Look, I did it." You didn't need to find out who it was because he had a TikTok and he was talking on it and he sounds so deranged. He was just like, "I hacked Give Send Go, I hacked Parler, I hacked Gab, I did all this. I'm so powerful. It's like, wow, no federal agents knocking on his door or anything. Like I guarantee you that he's probably aided in some way by the governments.
Right. Yeah, like Give said, probably signed in using their Facebook accounts, and a lot of boomers use their real names when donating. Yeah, that's why Facebook is so fucking stupidly dangerous. Did you hear that they're getting sued or something? Like Facebook is getting sued, actually.
I know I saw they were getting sued, but I don't know what over. I didn't look into it.
It's because of the recognition, the facial recognition thing.
Oh, the ID scan from the phones or whatever.
Texas sues Facebook parent Meta over facial recognition data. So yeah.
Well, because they can use that data however they want, and who knows if it's somebody's kid. That could be like literal.
It's essentially child. Like, because there's a Microsoft thing before. What is oh shit! I was on a fucking article website and there's just things started playing. I was like, what the fuck's going on? But Microsoft made this software which was basically analyzing people's expressions and people's facial expressions to determine which emotions they had. So if you were like looking at something and you were like, oh yeah, I liked it, haha, and you smile at it or something like that, they used that to determine. This was like a tool to use for advertisement and shit. And they could use this to determine whether they should sell that stuff to you or not. So if you're like looking at something, you're like, oh yeah, I like this shit, and they would immediately like sort of start advertising to you. And I think this is one of the things that they could possibly be doing with Facebook is selling this data to advertisers to sort of like push you things and stuff like that.
It
the Texas Attorney General is suing Facebook's parent company, saying it collected biometric data on Texans for commercial purposes without their informed consent. Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit Monday in a state district court. The suit claims Facebook parent Meta has been storing millions of biometric identifiers, identified as retina or iris scans, voice prints, or a record of hand and face geometry, containing photos and videos people uploaded to its services, including Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, it was even like it was using the the fucking that you post pictures and it recognizes people and stuff, and that's like basically what the whole thing was doing. Fucking spooky shit. So yeah.
Yeah, the I think what Facebook is trying to do is they want all this data, and that's why they're upset. They're actually upset at the EU. I don't know if you saw the EU. A lot of the countries. I don't know if it's just particular countries or if the entire European Union, but they're trying to block any. At least Apple is enacting a thing to comply with the European Union to be able to make sure that if you have an app on your phone, it's not collecting, all this data, that it's not stored into American servers, because like they don't want the idea of like American company collecting European Union, citizens' data, and so it would have to be on European servers if they want to do that, and Facebook doesn't want to do that. So they actually were tempted to shut down temporarily in the EU, and they may do it. I don't know if they will. I doubt they will. Just to like kind of tell the EU like, hey, oh well, you won't have Facebook. I don't know. It doesn't make sense
here,
to me.
Previously, the feature made templates. Or actually, the company said in November that it was shutting down its facial recognition program and deleting most of its data. Previously, the feature made templates of users' faces and compared them to other photos and videos posted on the platform, which allowed Facebook to notify users when they appeared in someone else's photo or video and prompted users to tag friends and family that the AI identified. Facebook still uses the system in a limited capacity, such as allowing users to gain access to locked accounts and verifying their identity for financial products. Texas is asking the court to fine Meta $25,000 for each violation of the informed consent rule and $10,000 for each violation of the state's Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Meta then called Facebook paid $650 million to settle a similar lawsuit over the use of photo, face tagging, and other biometric data in Illinois last year. So yeah. And with all the meta bullshit and stuff like that, the metaverse bullshit, Facebook is they dipped actually. The stocks dipped quite significantly.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just the lawsuit itself. It's the idea that they may not operate in Europe anymore, and if they don't have European user data, then they because of the blockage of like because of the way Apple is implementing this to comply with the European Union, they can't now if you have an iPhone and you log into Facebook, they cannot collect data because like if you're in the European Union, they can't collect your data because it would be against that policy of being having to collect the data in, I guess I don't know if it was exactly just because of the country change or if it was just a privacy issue entirely.
Yeah. I have no idea what it is that you're talking about because I've literally have no idea, so I can't really comment on that. Whether it's true or not, the only thing I know is like the article and this thing about the lawsuit and the metaverse like kind of falling apart because the metaverse is not ready. The VR thing is not ready yet for the things that people are thinking that you fucking put on these things. I don't know if you remember this video that popped in there and it got viral because it was like basically someone going about their lives wearing like some glasses or whatever, and their reality was augmented with like sort of virtual stuff, and the food on the counters had prices graphically available through the glasses. And I think this is what people expect from like a metaverse. People expect that you fucking put some glasses on and you go about your life, and your life is like augmented by, like virtual reality. But honestly, it's not gonna happen. It's just stupid shit. It's gonna look like some fucking mobile game that you can already get anyways. And you can probably like fucking
VR
do the same
chats,
thing with your phone,
like
or
VR
VR
chat's
chat,
far
yeah.
superior. Yeah, I mean, like, what's the point of getting into the metaverse when I can just play VR chat? But really,
Well,
the
VR chat
the
is full of weirdos and kids and creeps and stuff like that. But
um,
Facebook probably
I
is
don't.
as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, both, yeah. But
But the problem is that like the technology isn't ready. It's far from ready. It's just like it's very very prototype thingy right now. It's not like it's nowhere near what people want it to be. That's the thing. Like people think that just because there's these fancy looking like VR glasses thing, that it's like, wow, dude, yes, let's get into the fucking virtual reality thing. But it's so far from it still.
Well, like what I thought, and what I wish had happened, if the Google glasses. I don't know if you remember, or if you remember far enough to remember the Google glasses.
That's
but
essentially
Google,
that's what they that's what people want it to be.
Yeah,
I remember a video from Google Glasses where they like have a Minecraft build and they get close to the build and stuff, and they can see everything through the glasses. Yeah. That's what people expect VR or the metaverse to be, but it's not going to be that.
Well, the problem with Facebook is going for VR. Like, so, having to put on a VR headset and sit there and like, oh, well, now we can be virtual. Now I can be a shark, and I can be in the middle of my work meeting. It's like, yeah, like I want to do that, and like I want to do that from Facebook.
That already exists, though.
Well, I mean, you can be a cat and be on a Zoom call. Apparently, I don't know.
Wait, what is this? Is this photo real? This can't be real. The fucking like the thingies for controlling the VR thing don't look proper.
Oh,
they
no,
look like they're photoshopped.
That can be real because they have a mobile phone version. They literally have a headset where you can just hook up to like your mobile phone, I think.
That's real?
Yeah, I think it's
I don't know if that's real, dude. I'm looking at like the bottom, the fucking controller on his right hand looks so fucking photoshopped. That shit looks so photoshopped, it's crazy. I know there's like there is a VR for your phone, but basically what happens is your phone goes into the glass or the fucking headset thing, and your phone acts up as like the screen for the VR thing. What this guy's using is the Vive. I think that's the Vive. It looks like the Vive.
No, it looks like an Oculus. It looks like the Oculus. If you look at that picture. Yeah, it looks like the Oculus that he has. And he probably does have to have the phone in there.
If it's the Oculus, doesn't it need like a PC or something?
No, the new Oculus can be on your phone. That's the look at the one that I sent there. You can literally have your phone in there.
They want my cookies and shit. Fucking cunts. But where's this guy's phone though? Is that the thing that like sitting in front? Like, it looks like a fucking N-Gage from like 1972. I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe that. It just looks too photoshopped, honestly. Just because a photo appears on the internet doesn't mean it's real. Sorry to break it to you guys. I know it's crazy, right? Something on the internet could possibly be fake. Well,
but going back to what we were talking about, the Apple thing. I don't know if you saw the thing that I saw. that I posted there, but it's basically they're changing their privacy settings on the phone to where like now basically people have to opt in. It used to be
Yeah.
that you have to opt out, but now you have to opt into being tracked on your phone
Yeah,
from
that's pretty
apps.
good. That's pretty good.
And I like that ruling. It's just gonna hurt Facebook's bottom line, which they don't like. And also the reason that the Facebook stock fell, like I think Rondon said, is they actually reported that they lost users for the first time in forever. The first time that they've actually reported losing any significant number of users. So now people are wondering is like, okay, Facebook has it peaked, and now is it just going to be on the downtrend? And I think that that's probably the case.
I think
I think
Facebook
that-
already suffers from the fact that like the majority of its users are fucking boomers, like actual boomers. Like my
Yeah.
grandfather uses Facebook. That's saying something. Like my grandfather's almost like
Yeah,
80, or he's already 80. So that is saying something. And it's like my grandfather uses that shit. My mother uses that shit. She's like fucking 50 something. So, it is mostly boomers that are using Facebook at this point. I got out of it because I understand that like it's very predatory. And honestly, I saw outside of being able to contact people like instantly, outside of using Messenger and being able to like maybe find people that you haven't seen like in a while, there's honestly no fucking advantage to using Facebook whatsoever. The fucking videos are predatory, like that shit. The like basically YouTube counts a view if you look at the video for like a certain amount of time. Facebook counts views if you just like as you scroll through the fucking thing, it auto
If
plays
it
the video
crosses
and
your
it
page,
immediately
yeah.
fucking counts your view. So that's why a lot of these videos that you see on Facebook have like millions of views, is because like those are not legitimate views. They're the 3 million views because people are just like scrolling through shit and the things autoplay. As it fucking autoplays, it's counting a view. So it's so fucking predatory that it's insane. So I just decided to get the fuck out of it. Because
yeah. I mean,
just,
literally the only reason I am still on it is just because of family stuff. Just in case I need to contact anybody in family, and I
Right.
don't really I don't actively use it per se. Every now and then I post something, just either I'm posting pictures of like our son or something like that, and just stuff that I find interesting. But other than that, I don't really post that much to make sure that you know there's too much stuff on Facebook where it would be pointless to be on, because there would be arguments with people who don't even make sense about what they don't even know what they're talking about half the time. At least on Twitter, if you get into a Twitter beef or Twitter argument, at least most people know, like they may be
limited
stupid.
characters.
Yeah, you have limited characters,
So
so
they can't be
can't
fucking
just,
annoying too much.
yeah, you
well,
can't
they
write a
can,
book
but-
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know, man. Twitter's not better than Facebook. I don't even know if it's actually worse, because Twitter has too much fucking power. And like I told you before, the thing about Twitter is that when people post some shit on fucking Twitter, it could be picked up by somebody and it could make the fucking national news, and which is like why people are so afraid of it. This is why video game companies nowadays, they're so afraid of making certain fucking video games and shit, because making video games a certain way, because they're afraid of the backlash that people could fucking possibly have on Twitter. And in consequence, that shit's gonna get viral. It's gonna pick up on the fucking news. Everyone's gonna make news about that stupid shit. And they just don't want to deal with that. It's like why comics died in the last years,
Yeah.
because basically they wanted to make comics like they used to make comics, but they can't make comics like they used to anymore, because you get a fucking like a stampede of motherfuckers wanting that shit to be about the gays or about the queers or about the fucking transgenders or whatever the fuck. Like, motherfuckers can't create their own shit, so they have to make others that want to make like. So if I have a vision and I want to make that into a show, want to make that into a comic or something, I can't make it like studios nowadays don't fucking let that shit happen because these motherfuckers will jump on you and they're the vocal minority. They're just too fucking vocal because they have no other thing to do in their lives other than like complain on the internet. So that's just what's gonna fucking happen. It's so annoying, dude. It's just why we can't have good things anymore, because all they do is fucking cry about the things that are not like M&Ms, dude. Like the fucking M&Ms.
Oh my god, dude.
It's like they can't let anything slip through, man. They have to pick up every single fucking little thing and make it a problem for them. Make it a fucking issue. It's so stupid, you know? Like, it's retarded. It's absolutely fucking retarded.
Well, their ideas are they're just going to destroy everything in their wake. Like it's you know, it doesn't matter what it is, and they need control of all of it, because if like essentially if I can go watch a movie and I can enjoy it, it means I'm on the I'm on their team. That's what they want, is they want people who are on their team to enjoy it. Like, hey, you know, like, hey, all these people who you know, want all this, you know, all this trans, you know, stuff pushed in here in your shows, or all this, you know, stuff pushed, and, you know, like the new Lord of the Rings, they're pushing a bunch of new stuff. Like they're changing all kinds of characters, adding a bunch of new stuff, and it's not Lord of the Rings, and they're just like, yeah, you know what, we don't want those kind of people who don't agree with the, you know, who just want to be entertained.
You know what's funny though is that even though like people are afraid of being offensive or whatever the fuck, the funny thing is Matt Walsh has been like doing his thing. He went on fucking Dr. Phil. He's been like sort of portraying the truth and shit. I don't agree 100% with like conservative Christians myself, but what we have to be realistic about things. Even just because I don't agree with like a conservative Christian doesn't mean like he does or they can't have good ideas or you know, say good things. You know, just like the same thing. Maybe someone on the other side, you know, might be to an extent, you know, having good ideas as well and good things. Just like Blair White is part of the trans community, but she's always, you know, realistic about what it is and what they do and whatnot. And she's realistic about the fact that like the world has lost its complete fucking sense and its mind, and we're walking towards something that's not very good. But the reality is when he went to to fucking Dr. Phil, and a lot of people got their eyes on him, he got a lot of support. It's, you know, and it's like this is just an irrational fear from the majority of people, because they just don't want to be like fucking ganged up on the internet, because it doesn't feel good to be ganged up on the internet. And like, even though if there's like no physical altercation whatsoever, but there is still some like psychological you know, sort of punishment that's happening. But the thing is, like, he went on, a lot of people realize that he's speaking the truth. A lot of people with kids are realizing, you know what, fuck this shit, man. I don't want my kids thinking they're girls or whatever just because it's a fucking trending topic. Kids are gonna pick up on trending topics. You know what I mean? So it's fucked up. So a lot of parents don't want their kids to go through this shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's something where even if, you know, even here living in, you know, southern US, even I wonder if when my son, you know, gets a few years older, if he's going to have to deal with, you know, some other kid that talks about like, oh yeah, you know, I'm trans or something like that. And then he's going to learn about it and he's going to think that, okay, well, they got popular. I think it's just a trend of like a lot of you know, people will be like, oh, you know, well, you're special, aren't you? And they just treat them so special, and then the other kids are envious of it. A lot of it comes down to basic human nature. Kids want attention. Kids want to be, you know, have adoration and have care and support. And especially if you're a parent who isn't active enough and caring and supporting in your child's life, of course they're going to latch on to something like this, like, oh, I'm trans, I'm a girl now, whatever. And then they're going to basically, then you've lost them because they're going to fall into this whole thing of just being trapped in that mindset of like, well, I need the attention and I need to validate myself off of other people.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And it just, we need to realize that, kids will be kids. And I think, once again, like these training topics and all that shit, this is gonna, like, they're talking about this shit on the fucking, in schools, like, basically one of those Brits that we talked about and stuff, right?
Yeah.
One of them is like a 16-year-old girl who's in school and shit, and sometimes she says like, oh, we talked about this in school today, and I'm like, this is what you fucking talking in school nowadays? What is wrong with the schools nowadays? I didn't talk about any of this shit when I was in school, bro. We talked about history, the actual fucking history of like Europe and America and how things were developed and stuff. We talked about geography. We talked about, English and Portuguese and French, because I couldn't choose German. I wanted to take German instead of fucking French, but whatever. Yeah, it's just a, like, imposed
The hate
on
for the
you.
French runs deep.
Yep. But it just, like, that's what we talked about and shit. We didn't have like any of this stuff that they're talking about nowadays, and I find it so fucking weird when I hear these things like, oh, we talked about like this and that that's happening in the world and whatever. I think it's important to talk about some of these things, but I just think it's fucking weird. There's so much. I mean, then again, like, there's a lot of shit in school that is fucking pointless. I'm honestly, about 70% of the shits I was taught in school I already forgot, because like, I don't use them for life. I don't need them for life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you learn all this other useless nonsense, but there are some things like, technically, like, I know kind of how to do my taxes, but if it would be nice to just to know every single ins and outs of the tax code.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Why the fuck didn't we get taught this kind of shit in school? Like, why didn't we get taught finances and all that kind of shit? You know what I mean? Why did we have to fucking be taught things that we don't use? Because I didn't have my grandfather teach any of that stuff to me when I was growing up. And that's why I'm such a fucking retard when it comes to finances and money and economy nowadays. You know what I mean? And it fucking sucks, because I wanted to know about that kind of stuff.
Well, the problem is that the policymakers and the people who are making the policy are people with money, and obviously the people with money are gonna want to make sure that they make money, but that you don't make money, because then if you can make money, then all of a sudden they have competition, and if they have competition, then that's a problem for them, because then they could stand to lose money. And essentially, they want to make sure bets, and by doing what they've done with the education system, is that they basically told the policymakers, the people who actually formulate the school systems, to say, okay, well, financial education, nah, I don't need that. Like, let's put in gender studies, let's put in sex education.
I didn't have any of those when I was in school.
Well, I didn't have gender studies, but we did have we didn't have to learn some.
We didn't even
sex
have
education
sex.
thing.
We didn't even have sex ed. That came after, like a few years later. Yeah.
Like the natural experience, right?
No. The actual sex education was not a thing in my school until like 5 or 6 years later.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, see, we learned about it in like when I was like 12. It was like, hey, boys and girls do this, and then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, make sure you use use a condom, kids. And it's like, okay, like, why are we learning this?
Yeah.
But you know, you just go
Putting
along with it. But
condoms on bananas and stuff.
yeah, that's so dumb, dude. But the idea is that they wanted people docile. They don't want you to think for yourself because the idea, if you think for yourself, then essentially you're going to be a problem for the elite, and the elite then are going to be threatened by your presence because you're an outsider thinking, using your own thoughts, and you may beat them at their own game. So they need people who are subservient, basically people who they want everybody to be a McDonald's drive-through
Yeah.
worker, it be a burger, work at Burger King, work at the Walmart or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to be a fucking robot that, just falls for sports whenever sports happen, and this doesn't contest anything that's being said to them, and just, like, yeah, government said something, let's follow it. Sure. They're just
With
developing robots.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of them are falling for the mandates and stuff, is because they're just like, oh, well, the government said we should do it, so I guess it's a good idea, right? Like they don't
Mhm.
they don't take the second to think like, okay, let me evaluate this. Does this matter to me?
Yeah, which is why these websites which is why Reddit changed from being a, sort of a website that used to be for people to speak their minds and stuff. And once that chick became the CEO of it, or once
Yeah,
the CEOs and shit changed, because one of the guys that worked on Reddit, he was a person that spoke for freedom of speech and stuff, and he was killed because of that. And then it just became like a corporate bullshit thing, and Reddit, it became like moderated up to its fucking ass and shit, and it stopped being like thing for freedom of speech. And then 4chan, which basically came when Reddit was losing all of its like fucking sort of power for freedom of speech, 4chan became that freedom of speech space, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, this
well, part of the problem with that is like Reddit is trying to go public. Like they're wanting to be a public company, so that's why they're doing
yeah,
all the censorship and stuff. They want to actually get the big money.
yeah,
But the
exactly.
that's kind of the trend. Luckily, there are the 4chans of the world that are still, even though they're all weebs and most of them are probably autists. We still love them,
Well, I'm sure they're
appreciate
not
them.
all weebs, I'm not sure they're all autists or whatever. A lot of the things I say shouldn't be fucking taken seriously, but they're all weebs and suck. Weeps fucking suck. Dude, honestly, like, I grew up with fucking anime myself, you know what I mean? I just dislike people that are so obsessed with Asian culture that they want to be Asian themselves and shit. I just find that weird as fuck,
Yeah.
When I say weeb, I mean those people basically. But if you just watch anime, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, like
Like the trans Korean person.
there is one, yeah, that's fucking radical extremist shit. But there's one thing about anime which is like the girls and shit, and it's why I hate VTubers nowadays. It's because like they look like little girls. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit what you tell me. Oh no, it's like a fucking 2,000-year-old vampire. No, it's not a fucking 2,000-year-old vampire. It looks like a fucking little girl. And like most anime female characters look like little girls. And when these motherfuckers start obsessing with fucking when they start obsessing with anime, they start obsessing with these girls, and a lot of them start finding little girls appealing for some fucking reason, because they see that shit on the fucking thing, and then they find that, oh, I make money, I have a job and whatever, so I can probably find some form of response from little girls because they don't have much or whatever. It's so weird. It's so weird, but this is something that happens. You know, like if it didn't fucking happen, if like everyone that was sort of like into like really into anime wasn't like this, I'd be like, you know, whatever, bro. But it happens, and it there are a lot of motherfuckers like very much so into anime that have these weird obsessions with little girls that they develop because they watch so much fucking anime. They don't go out into the world to actually talk to women and actually get rid of their sexual frustration. You know what I mean?
Well, and
also,
that's, you know, that's
society
part of,
also has this fucking thing where you're apparently you're a sinner if you fucking jerk off or whatever. So a lot of people don't do that shit. There's even a fucking month for not to jerk to not jerking off. You know, like if I do what? Jerk off? Fuck yeah, jerk off. Jerk off pretty much like every fucking day. Sometimes like 3-4 times. Sometimes even 6. It depends. You know? Go out and satisfy my urges. No, but I'm satisfying my urges inside. That's what I'm saying. These motherfuckers don't do that even jerking off. I'm not saying I'm out talking to women and shit. I'm not saying I'm not preaching going on. I'm just saying they don't jerk off, they don't go outside, they don't do any of that. They just develop these obsessions with these things they watch, and they don't do anything to get rid of their sexual frustration. I'm not sexually frustrated, you know? I'm really not sexually frustrated because, again, I do what I have to do. It's not like I could pay like 40 euros to fucking get a hooker or some shit, but outside of that, I can't get anybody else. Because I live in a very, 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 very small town where everyone knows each other. And it's like we talked about this before. It's a place where most women are already married or they already are in a relationship, and it's just how it is. So unless I'm willing to go beyond this place, if I had money to go somewhere else, that's what I would have to do. Because, you know, and I think it's 3 a.m. Are we still on the air on MSP Waves? I don't know. We're still on YouTube though, and on Vim, so it's all good. Even if we don't finish the thing on MSP Waves, we'll do it here. But yeah, dude, like that's essentially it. That's what I'm talking about, you know. But yeah. There's no ejaculation today, so I mean, I want to play some more Forza. So I don't know if you want to join me or something, but I want to play some more Forza. What we could do is we could go onto general chat, and I don't know, maybe people can join us or whatever. Right? I could still keep sort of streaming or something. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I can go join you in general chat.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna stay live for a little bit longer. We're just not gonna do it for MSP Waves because it's scheduled and stuff, but we're gonna keep going live on general chat, so meet you there. And I'm gonna play some stuff. All right. You play some shit as well on the background. Boom. Alright, I need to go take a piss because I've been sitting here fucking wanting to piss for like a long time. I'm also going to stop the video thing. So if you want to stop that yourself, you're good.
Wait, what? Oh, the video.
Yeah.
There we go.
And we could just have some tunes in the background and stuff as we do or things or whatever. But I really need to go take a piss. Be right back. All right, I'm back. See, I guess everyone just ditched and stuff. It's all good. It's all good. We're still live though, so any major thoughts listeners on YouTube or Vim, I'm just well, me personally, I don't know if Trey wants to join in or something, but I'm personally gonna keep playing some Forza 5. I don't like, what can you do as a group or something?
I think you can join races, right? Can you do that?
And you do it like real time stuff?
I don't know.
Because I know there's the drive avatars, right? And you look, because I've already raced quote unquote against you like 3 times, but it's, you know, it is just the drive avatar. So, but if you want to join me, you can join me. You have my Facebox. Facebox? What am I talking, dude? Oh, why am I so fucking stupid? I hate myself. You have my Xbox profile on the friends and shit.
Yeah, I think yours is the
if
Facebox.
Xbox, like Microsoft bought Facebook and it became Facebox. That'd be funny, dude.
That'd be hilarious. Like Facebox, and all of a sudden
faking Facebox.
Oh, well, now it might be MetaBox. You know, since since Facebook is Meta now. And
oh yeah, MetaBox. Kind of sounds better than fucking Metaverse, to be honest.
It does.
Because the only reason it's Metaverse is because, like, it's pretending to be a universe, kind of. So yeah. The best thing I did for Forza 5 was literally turn off the fucking music. The game is so much more enjoyable with music, or without music. Just hearing the fucking engine of the cars and shit, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the only music that I liked in a racing game was Need for Speed Underground 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, that was...
Dude, I played so much of that.
Yeah, dude, same. Like,
it's so good.
It was such a great game because you would go and you would do all these street races, and then you would go pimp out your car. I had a pimped out Civic.
Did you play the kind of like MMO version of it, Need for Speed?
I think it's Most Wanted.
No. There was like an actual MMO type Need for Speed game I think it
No,
was
I
Need for
didn't-
Speed World. I think that's what it was called. And it was basically it was just like Underground 2 or Most Wanted even, but it was online all the fucking time. Like you couldn't play offline at all. You had to be online.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get into races and stuff with other people. I think you could race them directly if you found them like driving down a street or some shit like that. It's pretty cool for a little bit, but of course, because it's like an MMO shit and whatnot, I think it wasn't as intricate as the other Need for Speeds and stuff, and I think people stopped playing it because of that. It probably was kind of with a bunch of microtransactions. I don't really remember about the microtransactions, but I think it was free to play, so it probably had some of those.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about this game. Then, it doesn't even the name doesn't even ring a bell. But yeah, that would have been cool. Like, I mean, if it was like if it was like Need for Speed, like Most Wanted, Underground 2, or maybe the first Most Wanted even.
Yeah, the
newer
first one,
Most
yeah.
Wanted. Yeah, the newer Most Wanted I was not a fan of. Not that great. Hot Pursuit was good though. Hot Pursuit was great.
I don't think I played that one. Not the new. I think I played one that was. I think there was a Hot Pursuit like from many years ago.
Well, I like the Hot Pursuit 2 from there was a Hot Pursuit, and then they had a Hot Pursuit 2. Hot Pursuit 2 on the PS2, dude. That was such a great game. So
No,
great.
I played one that was for the PlayStation 1. But I know that there was the thing was there the American version of that game was different in the EU. So that's why I'm saying like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. But I think it was something different actually. Hold on. Let me check here the Wikipedia if I remember which game it was. I think it's this one, Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. I think it's this one from '98.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first Hot Pursuit game, and then after that, I think like 2002 was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and it was so cool because you could
Oh wait,
you know,
no, I
you'd
think
have-
it's High Stakes. Yeah, this is the one I played. This was the first Need for Speed I played. It was Need for Speed High Stakes, which in the game was released in Brazil as Road Challenge. It was different. It had a different name in EU. Or maybe it was Road. I actually think it was Road Challenge. Road Challenge. Because I remember the cover. Oh yeah. I think it was Road Challenge. Yeah, that was the first Need for Speed game I played. I think we might as well. You know what we're gonna do? We might as well end the show. We're still live on Vim and YouTube, but we might as well end the show because no one else is joining here. So I think everyone's done with our asses.
yeah.
You know me, man. I'm like bug spray, and once I come around, everyone leaves. But yeah, so we're gonna end the show. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. We're done here. It was the Maze of Thoughts episode 13. Next, are you? Oh yeah, it's only a month that your kid's gonna be around, right? Gonna be born. So
Yep. So
okay, so next week we
4
should
weeks. Expect an interruption in like 4 weeks here.
Yeah. So next week we're going to be back unless like a meteor falls on me or a Blaine engine or something like that. You never know. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. This is me, Eldritch Spig, signing out. Find me on elderspigsty.me. And Trey, go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch and Vim at Trey50Daniel, and go check my pinned link on there, and have all the other social medias there. So,
Alrighty then. See you guys on the next one. Bye bye.